Okay, here are two of my current Imperial Guard projects. This huge pile of bits here, this is all stuff that I've gathered going through my various bits boxes. I'm probably going to be using some of this I'm going to be using a lot of this to make my Ogryns. I've decided that I'm going to make some Ogryns for my Imperial Guard. I'm actually working on trying to create a decently effective assaulting Imperial Guard army. One that can handle Space Marines, that kind of stuff even. So all of these bits here, if you see, there's lots of big weapons, assault cannons, heavy stubbers, things that in general just look frickin' awesome. Chainsaw for a sentinel. There's also lots of limbs. Here's parts of an orc. I've got some disrepaired old Space Marines and stuff like that I'm going to be using as a base for the models. Lots of green stuff and gray stuff over them. Lots of Space Marine arms, that kind of stuff, because they're big enough. Terminator arms, old ones. So all this stuff here is for the project I'm working on for the Ogryns. I'm not exactly sure. I think the original Ogryns in the Codex, at least in the old Codex, the storyline was that they're from a planet with monstrous gravity, pretty much. So they have over time become these huge beasts because they take so much more strength to walk through the insane gravity on their home planet. In my opinion, the Ogryns are basically the orcs of the Space Marine or of the Imperial Guard army. Like, they have a Ripa gun, which is basically this just pieced together thing that shoots huge bullets many times, and they use it like a close combat weapon and just hit people with it. Okay, so why are my Imperial Guard considered Traitor Guard? The storyline for them, which is still constantly evolving, is that they got lost in the warp. They were, following some chaos or something, going through, and they got caught in the warp storm, and they got lost in it. They were considered deserters. They thought they just all abandoned their post. They were running. They were something. They were considered traitors before they ever came back. While they were in the warp, ships and ships and ships, tons of their guys were lost, were destroyed completely. Other ones, like the Ogryns, were, they came out these mutated, twisted, wretched beings. And still other ones, several of their main ships, their capital ships and everything, escaped the warp. And when they came back out, they were way in the future. And what had happened in the future was, while they were in the future, they found out that the Empire was being controlled, and it wasn't the Emperor that was in control. At that point in time, in the future, it was common knowledge that the Imperium of Man had been in the past controlled. The Emperor was basically being held prisoner, was barely alive, and that he was being controlled. And basically everything that happened with the Empire around the 41st millennium and even a few thousand years before that wasn't the Emperor. The Emperor was being held captive. And so so at this point, when they're in the future, they see that this has been happening. They go back into the warp to find a few of their, to try to find their lost battle brothers, who have many of which are mutated or dead. Some of which just never got out. Once they find as many of the survivors as they can, they fight off some demon hordes, that kind of stuff. They come back out. They come back out several thousand years past when they went in, but still same general time period. So they're back out in the 41st millennium now, and they know that the Empire is basically a false empire. The Emperor is basically being controlled, and he's being manipulated. He's being held captive. He's practically dead, and he's going to die soon. So the Imperial Guard, my Traitor Guard, they are for the Emperor completely. They are 100% loyal to the Emperor, and they're fighting for the Emperor. Fighting for the Emperor sometimes means fighting against Imperial forces because they know the Imperial forces are not controlled by the Emperor. So they're considered traitors because they were deserters and because they're fighting other Imperial forces. Due to this, they don't have any restocking. They don't have any resources coming from the Empire. This means that they're huge, grotesque beings mutated in the warp, which are represented by Ogryns. They don't have any armor for them. They don't have any weapons for them. Nothing fits. So the Ogryns are all having these pieced together pieces of metal and armor from other things, these huge, ridiculous guns chained together and this kind of stuff. They're just crazy, insane beasts covered in basically strapped together pieces of vehicle armor. Other things you'll notice in the army, lots of Dark Eldar pieces. This is another one of my current projects that I'm actually going to start working on some more. My Imperial Guard Rough Riders. This is an example of where I am with one of them right now. Cadians riding on Dark Eldar jet bikes for my Rough Riders. I've got the Fiddle Focus, the las guns mounted underneath here. And I'm working on giving him a lance. This is pretty much what they're going to look like. I may end up doing some mounted on warp beasts as well. I haven't decided yet. I'm probably going to do some temporarily mounted on warp beasts, but as far as permanently, I'm not sure about the warp beast yet. But they're going to have lots of Dark Eldar pieces. Apart from having lots of Dark Eldar stuff, they're going to have they're going to basically have been scavenging lots of stuff from pretty much anything they end up fighting. So there'll be lots of other Space Marine pieces, that kind of stuff too. So yeah, those are my current projects right now. I'll let you guys know. I might do a video on the construction of these Ogryns if they turn out good. So we'll see.